Welcome to Round Mountain Tai Chi. My name is Gordon. I've been studying Tai Chi for I think a little over 20 years and trying to put a little bit of a mini course, let's say, out on the internet for anyone to sort of learn from, things like that. It's going to be a companion eventually to a physical class or some other venture I might try, just to bring Tai Chi to more people. And if you like the way I teach, thank you. Just keep watching and we'll have some more stuff in here. So the Tai Chi I'm going to teach is all based on a guy called Cheng Man Ch'ing, who I will make appear now, hopefully. Okay, that guy there, originally born in China, later moved to Taiwan when the Cultural Revolutions were happening. A lot of martial arts were getting sort of pushed down or made illegal or whatever, because it was like secret societies. They're trying to get away from that. So a lot of people went to Taiwan at that point, as did he, and eventually he made his way to New York, where he had a class over there, okay, in the 60s and so on. So he was teaching there, and then from there, one of his senior students was my teacher's teacher, okay, who he then sort of went to see a couple of other of this guy's senior students. The name is Cheng Man Ch'ing, or Cheng Man Ch'ing, to get the pronunciation right. Okay, the name will hopefully appear at the bottom. And he was termed the Master of Five Excellencies because he could do Tai Chi. He is also a poet and a calligrapher and a Chinese traditional doctor, and what else was there? Flower arranging or something. I can't remember the last one. But he was a bit of a polymath, looking at all those different areas. But Tai Chi was one of the things that he's best known for in the Tai Chi sort of world. Okay. He also simplified a form that used to take a lot longer, down to 37 postures. This course is only going to be about 6. It's not a complete sequence, but it's the chorus of his form. Okay, and he does it his way. Other people will do it their way. Okay, you might see other people doing Tai Chi in all sorts of different styles, but we're going to follow his particular practice. Okay, so I'll just show you the content, let's say, of this little sequence. Okay, and then we'll talk about what you need and anything else that we might do as part of a more complete class or syllabus. So here's the form sequence. So there you go. Okay. So this Cheng Man Ch'ing style of Tai Chi, based on the Yang style, if you're familiar with that. There are other styles, Wu, Chen, and Sun, and various others. But this Cheng Man Ch'ing, modified Yang style, basically, is what we're going to be doing. That sequence there is called Grasp Sparrow's Tail, with the final posture being called Single Whip, and does form the chorus of this. So what do you need? Well, we need a bit of space, okay? Not a massive amount of space, Most living rooms should be okay. You might have to move a coffee table out the way perhaps, but hopefully you can find a space. This isn't the biggest of areas that I've got here. A bit of a slopey garden, so I'm limited for what space I can use. But we have that. Clothing wise, something just loose and comfortable, okay? I don't own any silk pajamas of the Tai Chi silk, the Chinese ones. You might see lots of videos of people in those, and I'm sure they're wonderful people, but I don't own any, and I feel a bit daft just walking out into my garden with them on as well. So yeah, we don't have a uniform or anything. My belt at the moment is sort of whitish as well. We don't do things like that either. Okay, it's just a gradual progression that we look at. So a bit of space. Clothing that's loose and comfortable. Okay, there are times when we might have to sort of lift our feet up or turn somewhere. There is a couple of postures where we might sink down a little bit, just a little bit. So don't wear anything that's too tight and restrictive. Okay, that's fine. So just loose and comfortable. Flat shoes is the thing. Okay, so whatever you have to hand is quite all right. Some people do it in slippers. Speaking of which, I have Tai Chi slippers. Okay, cost a few pounds, and you get them from loads of different places. I'm not got any affiliated links. This has Blitz written in the bottom of it. I think that's the online shop I got it from. Okay, but we've got a cotton sole to them. You can get them with plastic sole as well, but they will wear out after a while, particularly if you're doing it outside or depending on the carpet. But hopefully wherever we get, I'd always look for things like a lino floor or a hardwood floor is ideal, or laminate, is ideal for practicing on. But you can practice anywhere. Have them for long enough though, and they will wear out. These aren't the first pair I've had. They are just the most recent pair to be retired, let's say, because they're not expensive, but they will wear away. You can see that it's sort of wearing away in the heels there, and sort of balls of the feet and things like that, because there are areas that will move around. So that's all you need. Maybe a drink of water. It's a hot day. I should have had a drink of water, but hey ho. And that's about it. Okay. And you can we can go through that sequence over these videos. Beyond that, as I said, this is about the first sort of half a dozen or so postures. The complete form, ignoring repetitions, is 37 postures, is how it's classically numbered and counted. Okay, and that will normally take, depending on the class, you're looking at sort of maybe a bit over 6 months or so-ish, maybe, to learn the complete form in a way that allows you to do so without just getting confused, going, oh, what's he done now? And you just never quite finish learning the postures properly. Okay, so really get it. Although, to be honest, I learned the form once. Next time I went through, I dug a little deeper. Next time through, dug a little deeper again, just gradually and gradually getting down to the bone of it, or getting into the roots of it, depending on which analogy you prefer, of the whole process. So 37 posture form. Okay, there's some nice little extra moves. There's even a sort of kicking posture, sort of encourages us to balance on one leg. It's all quite good for your balance, this stuff. So we do that as we're learning the form, if social distancing allows us, and if you feel comfortable with it. There is a two-person exercise called push hands, so where we sort of get to feel each other's center of balance, and it really feeds into your form and how you should feel whilst doing it, what your arm should feel like and things like that. It sort of can't be beat really for really getting into what the form is doing. But then beyond that, there's some other things that we can do. Okay, so what could that be? Well, I've already reached down to get my shoes. I've got another thing down here, which is, it's a sword. Okay, so there is a sword form where we can start learning about what we're going to do with that. Okay, and there's various different sort of postures and so on, so getting us to sort of move the sword around. Okay, But it's good to learn the main form first. Otherwise you might as well just be in the worst of the sort of reenactment movies and things like that, and it just won't look right. Okay, but learn the form, and there is a sort of fencing that you can get into. Okay, and it's not sort of Western fencing. It is a different nature of the thing, but we can start exploring that should you wish. Okay, but it is a fencing thing where we are trying to maintain contact with our opponent's sword. Okay, it's one of these weird ones. When you're a good fencing session, you should almost be silent. Apart from the puffing and panting if people are running away, which last time I was up against my teacher, it was involved a lot of running away, but he is rather good. But fencing is another nice little exercise. If anything, it's more socially distanced than push hands, but without a knowledge of push hands, this can rapidly become something that a bit more dangerous, really. So we leave that for later. This is a sword I had made. You can buy them nice and cheaply from most martial arts shops. You do a search for Tai Chi sword and you can find one fairly cheap. Carrying them around, I'm in favour of a hockey bag as being a suitable thing. It doesn't look like anything much. Extra pockets are handy for carrying your shoes in, or a bottle of water. But yeah, sword form. Okay, learning those same sort of principles of the solo form, but with an implement in your hand, sort of feeling its weight and how it moves in space. Okay, now get that, learn all those things. If there's still something else you want to learn, well, this last one is a bit more of a bit of fun, I'd say. It's a different attitude. Okay, and I haven't made a saber. This is a saber, right? And that was a sword. It's called a jian in Chinese. This is the dao. Another word for dao is just knife. So it's just a bit more just, but it's a different nature, and it's coiling round the body a lot as you're sort of doing things. And there are sort of various different postures that you can get into. It's a bit of fun, but it's a bit more sort of almost aggressive in nature, whereas the Tai Chi, like this was like a weapon of 1,000 hours. The sword is a weapon of 10,000 hours, as in how long you had to work at it to develop your skills. This is more a choppy thing, whereas that is more sort of the gentleman's weapon, the fencing weapon, that kind of an idea. Okay, that's how they were generally viewed. Out with that, some other ancillary exercises, some nice loosening things that we'll get into, some massages, various other bits and pieces, and whatever I decide to witter about that day. So, we might talk a little bit about some of the philosophical background of this. So, it sort of comes from a lot of Taoist philosophies. So, Lao Tzu and, things like that. The Tao Te Ching, things like this. Because it's got some nice ideas in it. It's not a religion, though. Okay, you can quite happily practice Tai Chi no matter what personification or whatever you believe in. I'm not going to be pushing anything on anyone as regards to that, certainly. But hopefully I've sparked your interest. You've seen some things that might be interesting. It's like, oh, sword form. But there's really no point learning the sword form until we've learned the form proper. So if you want to come along, watch the videos. I might have something else in brewing up, depending on the situations as things progress, because it's still not quite at this current point of filming, the point where we all can just meet up and be pals like it was in December of 2019. This is being filmed in 2020 when everything went a bit wonky. So we just try and keep calm, accept what we can do, don't concentrate on what we can't, try and relax a bit, and hopefully have a certain amount of fun with what we're doing. Okay, so thank you for watching. Hope to see you in the class one day, or notice that you're watching the videos. Okay, this is the third time I've done an introductory video for this session, but gradually my technology is improving, so hopefully this is a bit more audible, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.